interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you the latest episode of Across the Board. Effects of listening to this podcast may include being educated on a random topic, shock, hysterical laughter, and an overwhelming feeling of wanting to subscribe to future episodes. This episode will start momentarily.
Welcome to episode 20
Something
of Across the Board.
If you've been listening thus far, thank you for joining.
Thanks for listening and putting up with all our technical glitches. Funny enough that the last episode I was talking about being positive, and that really tested my patience.
You were literally going to lose it.
I don't think I was, though.
You kind of were, because you said don't go outside or else I'm going to lose it.
That's today. No, I was talking about the last episode with our stupid video glitch. Yeah, that had never happened before, and for some reason it decided to happen on the last episode.
It's the universe's way of telling you, hey, I'm going to test you right now.
We had 15 minutes of really, really, really crappy, choppy video, and then the rest of the episode had all kinds of audio sync issues on my camera only.
Yeah. But you know what happens? We're doing our best. What can you do?
Shit happens.
We're doing the best with what we've been given.
Yeah.
There you go.
Somebody should give us better stuff.
If you have better stuff, let us know. We like free things.
How dare I work hard for it? No, but realistically, I mean, obviously at some point we'll upgrade some of this stuff, but I think I need to hit at least a substantial number of a substantial number of regular listeners before we do that. I'd like to have at least 500 people who regularly listen before I start spending money.
Listen, people. Right?
People?
Right.
Friends
Yes.
and neighbors, family. Yeah.
All the above.
So,
But thank you to everyone who is already listening.
yeah. And to the 1.5 million people who decided to watch that short clip on Instagram.
Great success.
That for us, yeah.
Right.
For a lot of people, that's oh shit, my numbers are down. For us, it's wow.
Okay, you know what? It's
Where'd
something.
that come from?
Positivity.
I'm
Okay.
positive. I'm just saying it's out of character for us.
Well, it's not going to be. So,
We'll see what happens.
yeah.
So yeah, if at some point you hear some drumming in the background, that's because we have really junky neighbors who decided to start drumming in the middle of the day. And it so happened to be right before we started recording.
I just have to make one reference before we continue on with our podcast. So, if anyone here has seen the movie Hot Chick, if they remember the mall scene with Adam Sandler playing the drums in that antique store, that is literally what was happening. And you were going to lose your shit. But it was the funniest thing because that's literally all that I could think about.
Can you stop that damn drumming, please?
Exactly. Is Adam Sandler drumming away and that lady coming in? Can you stop that damn drumming?
Well, but I mean, it was relatively quiet most of the day.
Literally, except for the thunder, that weird ass thunder that we had earlier, and rain.
And the people doing construction next door. It has not been quiet at all.
Actually, I think I'm kind of just used to everything that's going on. And then you just add that damn drumming to everything.
But the drumming's loud. That was loud drumming.
Which was literally at the building, that's maybe 5 feet away from us. And
yeah,
it was
it's
loud.
that window right there
Right
that
there.
faces our door, basically.
Exactly. It was just really funny. But anyway, continue.
All right, so we're going to... I'm trying to get in a better mood for this. But positive vibes. All right. So we're going to do Reddit stories part 2.
Yes.
I don't think these are as shocking as the first set.
But they're still good.
But they're also not as perverted as the first set
I haven't
either.
actually heard any of them, so...
Well, yeah.
We'll see how
So
it goes.
they're all right. I'm not too thrilled with them, but I think they have some substance. I feel like I could have found better if I would have hunted down a little bit more. I just didn't have time.
They're great stories.
They're good stories.
Yes.
They're worth listening to. I think they're good stories. All right. Starting off strong with story number Vaughn. I don't remember where I pulled this from, but Let's see. I'm gonna jump around actually.
Okay.
Okay. This is from I screenshotted this one. This is from Reddit. Subforum is secret.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is gonna sound messed up, but hear me out. I was staying at my friend's place for the weekend. First night, I was brushing my teeth and realized I forgot my own toothbrush.
Oh.
For some reason, instead of asking, I just used theirs.
No.
I figured it'd be a one-time thing. No big deal. But then I did it the next night too, and the morning after. And I kind of started feeling guilty.
Oh.
But also weirdly, like I was getting away with something. They still don't know. I put it back exactly how I found it. Would you tell them or just let it
Ew.
go? Have you ever done something small but
No.
gross like this?
Ew. I mean, no.
And then he
Immediate
says,
no.
please don't roast me too hard. There's
You
some
deserve that
things-
roasting, sir, or madam, whoever it is.
Mr. Grassy Dassy.
Mr. Who?
Grassy Dassy.
Grassy Dassy, okay? You're a grossy, okay? Like, no.
There's certain things that
Ooh.
you don't share. A
That
toothbrush
is
is
just,
one.
that's a violation.
I wouldn't even use your toothbrush.
No, I would not use your toothbrush either.
I would hope not.
Sometimes I didn't want to use my own toothbrush
It's just
because, like, I just want to like renew
That's
it
just
every
gross.
single like day.
that's just gross.
I'm telling you, that is a violation
Of what?
of everything. Okay,
It's just a violation
that is disgusting.
of the laws of the universe.
Ew. Why do people think that's okay? I mean, I'm sorry. Maybe this sounds gross to other people, but I'd rather not brush my teeth for that night.
I would just use my finger.
Or like, yeah, just like rinse with like toothpaste or whatever, you know? Then use someone else's toothbrush in my mouth. That is disgusting.
A cotton swab.
So you could find something.
There's so many options.
That is gross.
Ask
and
for a new toothbrush.
I was just going to say, can't you just ask?
Most people keep a spare toothbrush,
Yeah,
don't they?
we do.
Yeah,
We have a shit ton.
Like, because you have the new ones that you're going to use.
Exactly.
You don't buy it the day before you need it.
Exactly. Just, but like what in your mind, what goes on in your mind to say, you know what, I'm just going to use this person's toothbrush?
It's just foul.
And they're not even telling that person, oh my God, that's so bad.
That's just foul.
Foul. Like
that, you might as well just have used the other person's used underwear.
I can't.
Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm. It's a gross one. So, yeah, Mr. Grassy Dassy. Fucking sick. Sorry. All right, let's jump around and find another. Okay, this one's fun. Acrobatic Nebula 446 posts in the sub forum, Am I the Asshole? So this happened a few weeks ago, and there's still tension in the friend group over it, so I figured I'd ask Reddit. I, 19 female, went on a girls' trip to Miami with some friends. One of my friends, 21 female, let's call her Mia. I lost my place because a stupid thing popped up. Sorry. Asked to borrow one of my bathing suits since she forgot to pack one. I was fine with it, so I let her wear a matching two-piece set that I've only worn a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Before giving it to her, I was aware that she has IBS. She's been open about it before, and I didn't think it would be an issue. I figured she'd take care of it, and if something did happen, she'd be honest about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, fast forward to the end of the trip, she gives me the bathing suit back. I didn't look closely at it right away. I just shoved it into my suitcase to wash later. When I finally got around to doing laundry, I saw that the bottoms had a visible shit stain. I was mortified. It was clearly washed, but like not well enough. And although some of the girls disagree, it was definitely ruined in my opinion. I texted her about it and she apologized, saying she wasn't feeling great that day and that she did her best to clean it. But the fabric is light colored and very thin, so the stain is just there.
Mm-hmm.
I told her she'd need to replace the bathing suit, and since the matching bottoms aren't sold anymore, that meant getting me a whole new one. She said she'd only pay for new bottoms because the top is fine. I told her that doesn't work for me, that the bathing suit was a matching set, and that I can't wear it at all. She called me inconsiderate and said she knew I struggled, and said I knew she struggled with IBS. A few girls are saying that I should have just said no if I didn't want to risk something happening. They also say I'm being too harsh since it's just a bathing suit and she didn't do it on purpose. But I feel like if you ruin someone's clothes, you should replace them, period. So, am I the asshole?
I think you could look at this both ways, right? I mean,
I don't. It's pretty clear cut. I mean,
No, I mean the person who soiled
yes,
the friend's bathing suit should absolutely just buy a new bathing suit.
but that's the point. Is should she or should she not?
She should absolutely.
Okay, so
Buy a
what's
new
there? What's there two ways of looking at it?
Because like, I don't think I would have ever brought it up. Like
Oh,
if I was like if I let my friend borrow a bathing suit and something happened, right?
shit
Something
stain.
embarrassing happened.
Shit stain.
I don't think I'd bring it up. I think I'd just like let it go. Be like, you know what? It is what it is. Like
What if it was an expensive bathing suit?
that's also what I'm thinking.
and
What
she's
if,
only 19.
yeah,
So, maybe.
that's also what I'm thinking. What if it's an expensive one?
But regardless,
I
I
know,
think.
I
Well, and here's
know.
the thing too: is she borrowed the bathing suit. She had shitty bottoms. She knew she had shitty bottoms. She tried washing them. I am 100% sure she checked to make sure the shitty bottoms had,
Washed
to see if they had
off,
washed
but
or
they
not.
hadn't.
But they hadn't. So she knew damn well, and she gave it back to her in that. I would think that the normal thing to do was, oh, oops, these shitty bottoms did not clean up. Hey, something happened to your bathing suit.
Yes.
Let me buy you a new one.
So the writer is not the asshole.
No.
And like you said, I think if I were in that situation, if I had done that to someone's bathing suit, I would have just like been honest. I know it's an embarrassing situation, but this person knows that you deal with this issue, right? So they know this might be a circumstance of IBS. Just be honest about it. And just say this happened. I'm sorry. I tried to wash it off, but it's not coming off. And I will purchase you a new bathing suit.
Okay, but here's the thing too, though, is let's rewind a little bit. If somebody has IBS, why are you borrowing people's bathing suits anyway? I wouldn't
mean,
borrow somebody's swim trunks knowing that there's a chance that I may. Listen,
You don't have IBS. Okay.
well, I have something or another.
You just have tummy issues because of the way you eat.
I have to pack
Okay.
in case I shit my pants
Okay.
when I go on a
Everyone,
trip.
I'm sorry. Okay, let's take a poll here. You're going somewhere for like a weekend. Don't you take like 6-7 pairs, if not more, underwear?
Underwear is a different story.
Because everyone thinks they're gonna shit themselves, which never happens, rarely ever happens. But like you always take extra underwear, just in case.
I come close regularly.
But you don't though. Is this
Regularly
something I
come
really
close.
want to like put out there?
I'm just saying that there's a real chance that I may shit my pants one day, so I know not to borrow
I
anybody
will
else's pants.
confidently say that your underwear does not have any of those issues.
No, I
Thank
understand that.
The Lord.
I'm just saying
okay?
I wouldn't borrow somebody's pants knowing, like, I don't have that bad of an issue, right? She clearly did. And knowing that she has that issue, why are you borrowing people's light colored bathing suits? I mean, you got to where you were going, you forgot to pack a bathing suit, go down to the store and get one.
Yeah. I would do that too.
And I mean, just realistically, a woman's, girl's, whatever, two-piece, that shit it's all up in there.
It is.
Like, what? No, you shouldn't be sharing that to begin with. It is all up in there.
I mean,
Maybe that's just me. I'm also a little OCD, so.
I don't know. I can kind of go both ways on that. I don't mind my friends,
It's all up in there.
you know,
It's all up in there.
but you wash it
Yeah.
and you disinfect it. So,
Yeah. Well, I guess it depends on the friend, too.
yeah.
All right. Anyway, moving on.
Thankfully, we have clean friends.
Yeah. Now we do.
And now we do.
Um.
That is true. I'm thinking of just specific things.
Yes. Yes. Let me just really quick clean up my. See, I am not used to just iPadding my way through a podcast episode.
Thank you for
So-
joining us today. We'll be with you in just a moment.
No. Okay, this one's fun.
Okay, I like fun.
Okay, I've got 3 cousins who are birth siblings and were adopted by my aunt and uncle 20 some odd years ago. The oldest boy was maybe 6 at the time, and the 2 younger sisters were maybe 3 and 4. They had just moved in, and my aunt and uncle wanted to introduce them to some kids in the neighborhood from the Cook family down the street. So they set up a dinner date on the calendar. The oldest is just learning how to read and is the newest to the house. So he gets his sister to pack their toys and they get caught trying to sneak out of the house. Weird, right? My aunt, who at this point is still a strange old lady that these kids just moved in with, asks them why they're leaving. And the oldest asks her, why does the calendar say cook kids for dinner? I can't imagine the fear 6-year-old me would have felt if my mom had written that on her calendar, but this story is just so damn cute for some reason.
Oh, that's so cute.
That's an honest mistake.
They
I
thought
could
they-
see that. Cook kids for dinner. Like, why are you cooking the kids?
Cooking and eating them for dinner.
Well, and
Oh,
I mean, it's just a happy accident that the family down the street were
named
the
Cook?
cooks. Yeah.
that's so cute though. I can imagine the terror they were feeling.
Yeah.
Like, let's just pack up our shit and leave.
Yeah. And that's the funny thing is, like, even when kids are scared, like, when they're that young, it's still funny. It's
Yeah.
still, like, cute, you know?
Yeah, and they'll still tell you what they're afraid of.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I know you might cook me, but I'm still gonna tell you. You know,
Yeah. Right?
That
It's not like,
are you going to cook me? Like,
maybe I shouldn't bring this
why
up.
are
No,
you
no,
going
no.
to
Why are
cook
you
me?
cooking me?
Yeah. I wonder
Yeah.
what they packed though. Probably like toys, crayons and stuff, all the important stuff.
Just a juice, a Capri Sun. They
This will
probably,
sustain us.
it was probably like in the cartoons where they wrap it in a little cloth and tie
Yeah.
it to the stick.
Oh, poor kids. That's really sweet. That's a really funny story.
I mean, yeah, it's
That's cute.
That's a good one. That's a happy one.
Yeah.
Let me see how I feel about this one. I knew somebody who did something similar, so I'm going to read this one.
Okay.
Okay, so this was in confession. It's 2011. I'm in year 7. It's my first year in high school, and I got sent somewhere where I literally only knew one person, and we never spoke. A few months into the year, and I'm sitting in math class, and this one girl who I just could not stand, and who also bullied me on and off, kept just interrupting for the stupidest of things, and just generally kept getting on my nerves the whole lesson. Partway through the lesson, the teacher tells us to leave our things in the classroom so we could go to the computer lab, and I was the last to leave the classroom. Note that most kids hid their iPods under their pencil cases during class so they could get away with using it, and I knew that for a fact she'd left it there. I don't know whatever possessed me to steal her iPod, but I did. She never found out. But now I leave school. The iPod is still in my shorts pocket. Nobody knows what I've done. The girl thinks one of the guys was screwing with her and doesn't suspect me much at all. Now, the one defining feature of her iPod was the back was completely covered in small circular stickers, ones that had gotten so worn down they all had almost fused with the device. So I did what I could, and I scrubbed those fuckers off until it looked brand new. I didn't use it at all, fear of my mom seeing it and screaming at me about being a thief. So it just sat in my room gathering dust. Until about a month later, I overhear her asking some people if they know anyone selling an iPod. 1 week later, and I'd made $150 by selling a girl her own iPod that had just been factory reset and scrubbed down.
That's fucked up.
I knew somebody who did this regularly.
That is so mean.
I mean, yeah, but maybe she just got what was coming to her since she was a bully.
Yeah, but that's just mean.
I mean,
Doesn't that mean that she's also a bully
not
if you're
really.
doing
She's a thief.
and a bully?
Not really a bully, though. She didn't make her feel like shit. She just stole her stuff.
That kind of makes someone feel like shit.
No, but it's not the same as bullying. It's not the same as name calling and, pushing them around and making fun of their hair or whatever kids do these days.
I missed the
Misgendering them.
part that she was bullied. She was bullied?
She said,
I thought they just didn't talk.
I'm sitting in math class and this one girl who I could just not stand and who also bullied me on and off just kept interrupting for the stupidest thing.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I see it. Yeah,
You
she
know,
got what's coming to her.
I guess so. As someone who was bullied a lot in school, I don't know. I think I'm on her side a little bit.
I'm totally on her side. Get that money.
Get that money. I mean, I would have sold it for more.
I mean, I don't know what the going rate
But-
for an iPod was in 2011. It might be
do you
a
remember
touch.
iPods?
It could have been a touch. It could have been a video.
I remember
How many
iPods.
gigabytes was it? Was it the black one, the white one?
I had the
don't
pink
know.
one. Did you have an iPod?
I did not.
Loser. Just kidding.
I never.
I'm kidding.
I don't.
I loved my iPod. And then it started glitching.
I feel like they were.
It would like freeze, and it would ruin my entire day because all of my music was on there.
I'm gonna confess something.
What?
In the spirit of confessions,
Okay.
I had a Microsoft Zune.
What is that?
It was a knockoff of an iPod. It was not as good.
I've never heard of those. What is that?
It's a Microsoft Zune.
Why would you? Why?
Because I was too cheap to buy an iPod. And I found a Zune refurbished for like a lot less. So I bought a Zune.
I mean, if it does the same thing, it doesn't really matter.
I never used it because I was afraid that people were going to make fun of me for not
Why
having
did you
an
buy
iPod.
it?
I don't know.
Why did you even buy
I
it
felt
then?
left out. I
You're
never
the
even-
one. Okay, you felt left out, but you couldn't even like use it in front of anyone.
I never
because you're
even wanted one,
too-
though.
Then what is the point? You know what? This is your problem. To this day, this man just buys stuff. He just buys stuff.
I wanted to fit in.
He just wants to buy stuff.
Maybe.
Yeah. He just want to buy stuff. Any other confessions that you'd like to
No,
put out there,
that was
Mr.
it.
Zune?
That was it.
Do you still have this thing?
No, I threw it out.
See,
It's
waste
like
of
15
money.
years ago.
Waste of money.
All right. Well, maybe. Let's go to earmuffs for the kids.
Okay.
BF thought he would use the dildo he found under the bathroom sink on me one night. Didn't tell me what he was going to do. Has it all sneaky like, and after he put it in, I realized what he'd done and pulled it out. But it was too late. My genitals were on fire. I had to sit in the shower with my legs spread and the shower head right up on there. The reason the dildo was so spicy? I put it under the sink because it accidentally got fly spray on it one day when I was fighting ants. I put it under the sink with full intentions to throw it away in the bin the next day, but had forgotten. Ended up sitting on the shower floor for about an hour. He didn't try anything like that again. There's some edits and stuff with extra information, but no.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, why is it under your sink?
I don't know.
It's like a universal thing that these things belong in your nightstand.
Well, here's my thing is I would just think that if it was under the sink, it's unsanitary to begin with, and maybe it shouldn't be used.
I mean, just like honestly though,
Like, under the sink
what
is
do you
not-
what do you guys think? Like, shouldn't these things be put in your nightstand? Like, that's just, I feel like that's just universally a common knowledge type of thing where this is where you put them, this is where you hide them, not under your sink. I put like cleaning stuff under my sink and toilet paper.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, that's not the
and,
sanitary place.
Like, ew.
That's not a sanitary place to hide stuff.
And I'm sorry, but her boyfriend is just sticking it in there without even like telling her anything. That's such a weird thing for me. Like,
Yeah, I don't know why.
what is the point? Oh my God, I would go to the doctor.
Well, yeah, you'd probably have
Like,
to.
you would need to go see, like, I don't care how much
It's like
you've
some
washed
poison control stuff.
that
Yeah.
out. You'd still need to go to the doctor and get yourself checked out because there's no way. And how did it even get on there?
Okay, then I'll read the edits because it explains.
Okay.
So the first edit says, how embarrassing that this blew up. To answer your question about the ants, they were regular sized ants and the dildo was a double-ended one. I don't know why that matters. I did not use the dildo to fight the ants. It was just sprayed accidentally as I was going crazy on the ants as they've been going everywhere and driving me crazy. So she was spraying for the ants and she accidentally got the dildo because apparently it was in the way.
I wasn't even thinking that she was using that to fight the ants, but that would have been really
This is
funny.
a very Game of Thrones.
On guard, you ant.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of who's thinking that. And then edit number 2 also explains some of the questions. Boyfriend had never used the dildo on someone before. All his exes didn't have any that he knows of. He saw it and thought that that's what I wanted.
Because they keep it in their nightstands.
Don't yell at me.
But like
I don't
But
know.
you don't warn a girl like, hey.
Well, he thought.
Also,
that's what
why
she
was
wanted.
he looking in there? Why was he looking underneath the sink? What was he searching for?
I
Why was he
don't
being so
know.
nosy? I have so many questions.
I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe he was looking for something else, ran across it, and he was like, "Oh, she must love using this double-headed dong."
Why are you British
I don't
or
know.
trying to be British? I don't get it.
I don't know. For some reason, in my
Double-headed
head,
dong.
in my head, the guy is a Brit. Because he's just clueless about dildos. I don't know. I feel like that's something British people are clueless about. You know, I'd love to actually see the numbers, like percentage-wise per, million people of population. How many dildos are sold in the UK versus the United States?
Well, that's such a weird thing to think about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Well, who uses more dildos?
I can actually, let me see if I can look it up real quick.
I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? It's got to be, let's see.
Let's see what it says here. Okay, according to the database and online search for sex toys, the U.S. shows a slightly higher level of interest than the United Kingdom. U.S. has 104 searches per 1,000 internet users, and the U.K. has 96 searches per 1,000 internet users.
Okay, hold on. I asked ChatGPT
So
also.
Americans are more likely to be searching for sex stuff online.
Okay, so ChatGPT says, population, right? So, yeah, we have more. So, okay, population size, blah, blah, blah. But market size, the U.S. sex toy market was worth over $10 billion in 2024, while the UK's was worth under $2 billion.
Wow, big difference.
But then again, we also have 5 times the population of the UK. So it's kind of consistent.
Mm-hmm.
It's about consistent. So it's about $1 billion per 30 million people.
I wonder what it is like overall Europe though, not the
I don't
UK.
know.
I feel like Europe would be more, no? Because they're more open with like sexuality and things like that. I think.
Well, online sales data from apparently some websites consistently show higher volume and variety of purchases in the US. So, yes.
I mean, I guess that's why.
It says, it wraps this the whole thing up by saying, so yeah, the stars and stripes are waving with batteries.
There you go. In their nightstand.
ChatGPT, it has such a fucking attitude.
Yes. Please let me know if you agree. Nightstand is where you're supposed to put these
You're
things.
really hung up on this nightstand
Because it
thing.
doesn't make sense to me that it's underneath the sink. Like, that is such a weird thing for me.
Let's find out.
You're literally looking at...
I'm asking ChatGPT. We're going to find out.
I'm very curious to know if this is like a common thing.
I'm sure it is. So, most people stash their sex toys in drawers, but the type of drawer and level of discretion varies widely depending on their living situation.
Right. Drawer.
Hold on. Top 5 common storage spots. Nightstand drawer, the classic, easy access, but risky if you have nosy guests or kids.
Mm-hmm.
Closet, box, or bin, more secure, often
Okay.
with locks or underclothing.
Makes sense.
Under the bed, either in storage containers or just rolling free.
Oh, ew.
Bathroom cabinet, especially if the toys are silicone or water safe and cleaning is part of the routine.
Cabinet, I feel, is different than underneath the sink. I don't
that's where the
consider that.
that's the
no,
cabinet.
I feel like the side drawers are the cabinets, not the. Not
Those are the drawers. Those are not the
That
cabinets.
doesn't. I'm sorry, but you're no.
I don't know.
Don't do that. What's number 5?
I'm just reading. It's just bullshit. It ends this by saying, "Want to know how you should store yours based on what you've got?" I'm good. Thank you. I'm good.
You know, you learn something new every day.
Yeah. So here's a fun one. Moving right along.
All right.
Super Slimy Slime writes in confession.
Okay.
I know this sounds weird, but when I worked at Starbucks, there was a regular customer that was very difficult and rude. I was warned of this customer my first day of training. She came in every morning and would try to rush the workers on doing their job and makes other customers feel uncomfortable. 3 months into working, she came in one morning and caused absolute hell. She was complaining about her drink while one of my coworkers was making the drink. As soon as she got it, she accidentally spills it and asks for a completely different drink. I was so fed up. She wanted a frappuccino. She went to the bathroom while we were making the new order. I switched with my coworker and made the drink. Instead of almond milk, I made the frappuccino with regular milk. The drink was ready by the time she'd left the bathroom. She takes the drink and takes a sip and didn't complain. 5 hours later, she calls the Starbucks from the hospital, and I was the one who picked up. She got in a car accident trying to rush to a bathroom. She said she had shitted her pants. I couldn't be any more happier that she was safe but got her karma.
Nice.
I mean, not really. He could have killed her.
Yeah, but
I
in
mean,
theory.
also, I'm gonna back up really quick. She said she shitted her. She said she shitted her pants.
Shitted.
Yeah, who shitted their pants?
that
No,
a
you
word?
shit your pants.
Shit. Yeah, is that
Yeah.
a word?
So yeah.
You know, my conscience wouldn't allow me to do something like
I
that.
couldn't either.
But I commend her because
kinda
she
funny.
probably really did deserve it.
It's kind of funny though.
It's unfortunate that this woman got in a car accident, but it's freaking hilarious that she pretty much almost shit herself. Or did she shit herself?
She shit herself.
She shit herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of fucked up though. Even when people are rude, that doesn't mean you could
That is
poison
true.
them.
No.
Because if honestly, like somebody that's lactose intolerant, you're basically poisoning them.
Yeah, that's true.
So
It is funny though. In a dark, twisted way.
Yeah, I guess.
You know? It's
it
not
is.
right,
It's not right, but it is.
but it is funny.
Kind of funny.
I wouldn't do it.
No, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't
either.
suggest other people do it.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of funny.
Full disclaimer: don't try anything you hear here.
Exactly.
You hear on here in real life.
Don't do it.
What? Don't do it.
Just don't keep them under the sink. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Oh my god.
Okay.
The sink.
Yeah.
Okay. Jeremiah's ghost writes in Confessions. I miss pandemic life.
Yeah.
I miss the me against the world feeling, the adrenaline rush, how every trip in public was a risk and something you needed to be smart about in order to continue to survive. I was working as a forklift driver for an online retail warehouse that got slammed by the panic buying. During the worst parts of 2020, I was on a shift short of drivers. Every day was a hopeless battle that could not be won. 6 overnight shifts a week, facing all that and only seeing a few minutes of daylight a day.
Wow.
Making tons of money and saving tons since I couldn't spend it. It's nice to have freedom again and not have thousands of people dying every day, but normal feels so boring and unsatisfying now. But back to working 40 hours a week and side hustling again. I miss the absurdity of it all, everyday hopelessness and insanity, and being conditioned to feel like it's perfectly normal, not being mad and not caring when I should be terrified.
I kind of agree.
I don't disagree with that at all. Pandemic life was
Yeah.
zero traffic. People didn't want to get near you. Everybody wore, well, like when you go to restaurants and people were wearing masks, I wish they still would,
Yeah.
you know. But okay, so you were working from home, so you don't know this, but traffic was non-existent.
You told me.
I would get on the freeway and there would be 3 other vehicles and they would all be doing 90 miles an hour. And you would just get to wherever you needed to do, like wherever you needed to be in 10 minutes. And it was just amazing. But also, I don't think that whole hustle that he's talking about, like that whole, like, you know, making extra money, this and that, I don't think that's a pandemic only thing. Like, I mean, if you really wanted to, like he's talking about, like, I didn't spend money because I wasn't making, you know, I had no opportunity to. Well, you don't need to spend money today either. Just saying.
I think at that time though, you really didn't have the opportunity.
Yeah, but you don't need to spend money just because you have the opportunity
you don't need
to.
But I think it gives you a better chance of saving money because so many things were closed.
Yeah.
You know, like if for me, for example, you know, I like to go out, I like to do things. During the pandemic, nothing was open, so I didn't have to spend on any of those things, right? But as soon as we were able to go out, I'm like, I need to leave the house. Like, I need to do something.
Well,
You know, so you're spending money.
Yeah.
Again.
No, I mean, I get it. But there was another thing in here that kind of caught my attention. It was he said how, you know, now everything seems so boring. I don't know. And I've heard that it's kind of, for some people it is, like people that go, that join the military and they're overseas and they're, you know, constantly ducking RPG attacks and shit like that. I can't imagine what it's like to come back here and have to just work a regular 9 to 5 job after having lived through that.
I think that's probably a welcome like change for
No,
them.
I'm not
you
saying
know?
it's
I mean,
not welcomed, but I'm just saying I can't imagine having to make that
like
transition.
that chaos, and then just
From-
coming
yeah,
from
exactly.
that chaos into something
From
that's just like
constantly-
mundane, you know, everyday normalities, right? Like,
Yeah. From constantly having to be on guard, worried
Yeah.
about being killed, like literally every second of every day, to coming here and just, you know, and not just that, you're expected to be a warrior. You're expected to be ready to kill someone if they try to kill you.
yeah.
And then you come here and you're just expected to be nice and, you know, function part of society. And
I mean, that's why a lot of people have PTSD too, because of
yeah,
stuff like that.
but I'm just,
I would assume that it would be a nice change for them to not have to worry about
Yeah.
that, you know?
well, similarly with this guy too, though, like he's saying, like, yeah, it's a nice change that people aren't dying and stuff, but he still doesn't feel that this feels mundane to him compared to that. So I'm sure
Yeah.
there's some people.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have exciting jobs like that. You know, we work our asses off. Yeah,
Yeah.
but you know, I'm in the corporate world and you're in government pretty much, you know. So
Yeah, unfortunately.
it's just for us it's the same things over and over again, but I feel like after the pandemic it's just been the same thing. Like it just feels everything feels the same. Like
Well-
there's nothing that is like super exciting. You know what I mean? Like,
My take on this is that during COVID, it was always ever evolving.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was never, so it was not like, you know, major changes, but every couple of weeks there was like a small change. It's like, okay, now we're working remotely. Now we're doing this. Now we're doing
now we're
that.
opening back up, but you have to get vaccinated to go out. Like there was always some
But-
type of change.
But there was always some kind of like situational
But-
change happening.
But before the pandemic, okay,
Yeah.
normalcy, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was there prior. We would still get excited over things. We would still, I mean, not that we don't now, but like we're kind of back to what it was before.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, our mentality has changed, but nothing seems as exciting.
Well, that's just because we're older now.
You know. Ugh, I hope that's. Is that why older people are sometimes bitter?
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Well, not to mention, it's like that whole COVID experience took away,
Yeah.
depending on where you lived, anywhere from a couple months to 3 years of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like it disappeared in a blur because you were doing the same thing over and over again every day.
Right.
So there's that. But yeah,
It's just a lot of things changed in such a short amount of time, and and like I think you were talking to my brother a few days ago saying you were working and you signed off a paper that said something 2023, and you're like, oh my god,
yeah,
it's actually 2025.
yeah.
You know, like I want those years back. Like give me the last 5 years back. I feel like
I feel cheated.
it was like, you know, we're in our 30s and like in our prime and stuff like that. Like we didn't really get to do everything that we wanted to do at that time, you know. And granted, there's a lot of other people like kids who couldn't enjoy, you know,
Yeah.
graduations and prom and, you know, just meeting other kids. Like there's so many things that people missed out on, you know.
Yeah. We didn't miss out on that much, really.
We didn't.
But the
But
kids
a lot
missed
of
out
people,
on more.
a lot of people did.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of people missed out on things. And this is just a broader conversation, but it makes me so angry realizing certain things now versus how terrified we were 5 years ago because of what we were being told. And granted, it is dangerous, but there's always a way where we could have
Was nowhere near
made
as
it
bad.
seem like it was. You know what I mean?
Well, and I mean that's the thing is, you know, I say this all the time. We assume it was one thing and it was whatever it was here because that's what we were exposed to, but you go 2 states over and they were just living normal life.
Yeah.
So it really depends on where you were. I mean, there were certain states did zero to do, like there was zero shutdown or
Right.
anything like that. There's no COVID vaccine mandates or mask mandates or anything like that. But here we got the brunt of it. We got the worst version of it because I don't know why. I mean, I
We're
don't.
also very highly populated.
Yeah,
state,
but I
so-
feel like a lot of it was it was a money thing, I think. I think it was a money grab.
I don't know. It's over and done with for the most part,
Yeah.
but it makes me sad that
Yeah, of course.
so much time was wasted
Of course.
for I don't want to say nothing, but like because a lot of people unfortunately died from it, and it is very serious, but they could have definitely handled it in a better way. That's
Well,
all I
yeah,
can
no,
say.
no, no. And but then, it gets into the whole conversation about, well, all of a sudden the flu disappeared and COVID replaced it. And so was it really the flu or was it, who knows, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's the numbers were not, you look at the numbers that we had in terms of infections and deaths, and they were no different than the flu numbers in years prior. So did they just reimagine the flu as this COVID thing and then just use that as an excuse for, emergency funding and spending and all this other bullshit that they did, which I think really is what it comes down to. I
Yeah.
think that it was a huge money grab. It was an opportunity that they took. They knew damn well where it came from, what it was, and they hid that shit from us for years so that they can push these vaccines from these pharmaceutical companies that were never really largely tested, which we now know have side effects. And it was a whole bullshit fucking choreographed dance that they played on an unsuspecting populace.
Yeah.
And they were able to do it for a certain amount of time, depending on how much that populace fought back. So places like California, where everybody was just, oh no, we have to do what the government says. We ate shit and we dealt with it for 4 years.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Just thinking about certain people, like certain communities that were affected by this, people who lived in homes and rehab centers.
Yeah.
And I'm just imagining how difficult it must have been for them or for their families not to be able to take care of them or provide for them or even for the patients, how difficult it would have been. My mom passed away 6 years ago, and I'm only imagining, in her condition and the fact that she had a stroke, how much more difficult her dealing with all of that, if she was alive during the pandemic, how much more difficult it would have been for her.
Yeah. Well,
that would have been a nightmare for her.
but then you look at it in the sense of, did everything happen the way it should, and did it happen for a reason?
I don't know.
Because there would have been more suffering during COVID.
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
I commend those families, and it's a difficult situation, and thank goodness that we're getting over that whole thing, right? But damn, it just, you think about it and it's like, ugh.
Well, don't be too sure. They're talking about rising cases in some Asian countries right now and more deaths and this and that. So you never know. COVID 2.0 might be on its way.
Just
Nobody's going to stand for it this time, though.
Yeah.
I think everybody's so fed up from last time that I don't think they would be successful.
It was a complete shit show.
Well, and that's the thing is, I don't think that the government would be successful in controlling the population like they did this last time.
You never know.
I feel like it's going to be another 50 years before people forget enough for them to be able to do that bullshit again.
Maybe.
Especially with something that had such a low mortality rate. Like if this was something where people absolutely everybody that got it dropped dead, or 1 in 2 or 1 in 5 or 1 in even 10, yeah, that would be scary. But this had a less than 1% mortality rate. And the majority of those mortalities were people that had comorbidities
Underlying
and
issues, yeah.
or underlying issues, or they were elderly or whatever, or immunocompromised. So yeah, you can look at the numbers one-sided and say, okay, a little less than 1% died, or you can say a little less than 1% died, but of those less than 1%, how many of them were actually healthy adults with no other
it's extremely
causes?
tragic, obviously.
It still is, of course.
Looking at it as a whole, though, we have other diseases in the world that contribute to more deaths than what people dealt with the pandemic. Not to say that in any way takes away from what the families dealt with when people,
I'm not saying that either.
Passed away. Like, that's absolutely tragic, and I'm so sorry for your loss. But as a whole, if you look at it, there's other things that people are unfortunately dealing with that are
and
that are happening.
Diseases that have been around for decades that are still killing crazy numbers of people, And for whatever reason, we're not pouring tons and tons of money into research for vaccines
Right.
or cures. And for this one, for some reason, even with as low of a
I
mortality
think it's
rate as
because
there
they
was,
thought it was so contagious, and you
well, do
you look at things like other things like diabetes. Diabetes is not contagious, so they're not gonna,
No,
I guess,
of
give
course.
it the same attention. That
But there are some things that are contagious that are even more deadly,
Mm-hmm.
and for some reason they're not considered pandemics. I don't know.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
maybe it's because
I
the
don't know how that
spread.
works. I don't know how you classify something to be
It's
a
the,
pandemic.
I think it's the rate
but
of spread or something.
maybe.
But
Anyway,
that little rant. It sucks that this thing is just keeps rearing its ugly head, but it's like it's
Yeah.
always on people's minds.
it's going to
like,
be there. I think
know.
for many decades.
at least for our generation.
It's yeah.
It
know.
screwed us out of a lot. You know,
Yeah.
screwed like, and again, I'm not. It didn't screw me out of that much, but like, look at kids. Look at kids that didn't get to go to preschool or kindergarten or didn't get to go to prom or graduation or whatever. Like, there's
Weddings, people couldn't get
Yeah.
married, people
People-
are having babies and they couldn't have their husbands in the room
Yeah.
with them. Like,
they couldn't. People whose family members passed away couldn't bury their family
Exactly,
members in more than a
exactly.
group of 4. But
awful.
it is what it is. Anywho, let's wrap this thing up.
Well, thank you guys for listening in today, and we hope to see you again during our next episode. We appreciate y'all.
Yeah. Thanks for watching episode 20 something. 21, I think. 22 maybe. I don't know.
20-something.
22, I think.
Okay.
Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.
Till next time. Bye.